Alright, let's see, we'll get started here in a second. Let me know if the audio is good. Should be. I don't see why it would be. Same stuff as normal. Alright. We're gonna do a couple things with this. So, I left the link. Hey, Soner, welcome. So I left the link for the tutorial here, as you can see. Um, that's the GamerPoets one. I think that's the one you said you were looking at. That's also the one that I go by for that. Um, it's pretty standard. Um, so within MO2, well here, let me first let me do this. Let me pull up a different file here just to show you where I have mine. Oh, geez, I can't even think right now. Okay, we're ready. So here it is. Okay. So what I do, because I run all this stuff off my C drive on my SSD, I created a separate folder right here called Mod Tools. So if I go back to the C drive, anything that's right off my C drive, anything that's in the folder, it's right here. This is just basic system stuff. You'll see your program files, programs x86. That'll take you to, Steam, Steam Apps Common, your games, all that stuff. Users will take you to like your app data. It'll take you to where your mods are physically located. Um, but I create a folder here called Mod Tools, right? Inside of this folder are any tools that I may use at any point for certain things within my own game. Um, if you're looking on here, you could see Assets Optimizer is CAO, Cathedral Assets Optimizer, right here, the EXE. This can be run as an executable. I don't believe I have it installed on this newer version of MO2. I have to do that, but I'll do that at a later date. Um, Other things here, BAE, it does the archive extractor. I also have a shortcut here on my desktop over in the left. It's the third column down, second one in, highlighted over here on the left. That's this. That will extract any BSAs that you have immediately. You just literally take the BSA, plop it right in here, and it immediately opens it for you. So a tool like that. Yeah, ready. So Vortex is a little different. Um, I'm going to try and do it on MO2. Well, I'm not going to run it because I don't have the rest of my stuff set up, but I'm going to go over the basics of it. You're going to run TextGen first. So DynDOLOD will give you everything. It'll give you TextGen 64 exe. You're going to run this program first. When it finishes, then you're going to run DynDOLOD exe. What it's going to do is inside of your game folder, wherever your mods are stored, right? For me, it's on users, app data, my name, local, mod organizer mods, and then all my mods are in there. For you, it's if you're on Vortex, it's going to be a little different. What qualities I use for TextGen? Okay, so TextGen is just your textures. TextGen, yes, is included in the DynDOLOD download. Um, Let me go back here. So my mod tools folder is right here. When you download DynDOLOD, you're going to get the main. TextGen you'll have two. SE, you're going to want the x64 for both of these. And yes, TextGen will definitely be in there. You're going to want the latest version of both of them. So if you see DynDOLOD get an update, that means TextGen has also been updated. Hey Wind, welcome. Um, TextGen you will run first. TextGen will take care of your landscape textures, mountains, grass, things like that, along with any other textures pertinent to the TextGen program. DynDOLOD for mainly your trees, architecture, distance draw, things like that. They are to be run in tandem. Anytime you come across a mod with a file and it says DynDOLOD only, or there's another one for, it'll say like SSE LODGen, XLODGen. If you're running DynDOLOD, you're going to want the DynDOLOD only version. There's a couple on there that say it, some of them don't, and some of them only have one LOD file, which is, the case with anything that has billboards. Just make sure you grab the billboards. Like I said, I linked Michael from GamerPoets. Uh, this is the DynDOLOD. Ooh, wow, I can't even highlight it. And of course, yeah, enter, enter. Well, I messed that up. The link was there. The link should still be there. I don't know. I messed that up. If it's not in the description, I have it. Anybody that wants it, I could pin it in the server for them. It's pretty straightforward. I think it's only a couple minutes. He goes through everything. Really concise, really to the point. It's just what you need to know to get it to work. It's real simple. Trying to read it off any of the guides was, you know, you could do it a couple ways. The way that he shows you in that video is the easiest way. It's the best way that I've seen. Um, Even when you go to your map, um, I found doing it the way that Michael shows you to do it, you get all the nice trees and architecture on your map as well. It's great. When I ran it beforehand, I didn't necessarily see it on my map, but my in-game was perfectly fine. It works either way, but little things like that, and you know, some of the guides will tell you you have to place your map mod lower, which means in your left pane, DynDOLOD would be somewhere here where it says SSE LODGen and DynDOLOD. But I kept my map mod up above, and it works perfectly fine. It gives you, all the little trees that dot your map, um, all of your architecture structures. You see me with the TPOS2 content add-in, so I'll be able to see all of Nesbitt's area edits that he adds in, the ruins architecture, the structures, any of his added like small settlements, the homes, and if I put in the rest of his content like Whiterun walls, you'll be able to see some of the walls to a degree, and some other things too. Um, it's really nice. So you're gonna want to run TextGen first. Um, when it pops up, the base default options for TextGen are actually okay. Yeah, billboards. So let's talk about billboards for a little bit. If you're following along, if you guys use the Lotus separators, you don't have to. I recommend it because it does categorize all of your stuff, and the separators can be moved, just like the mods. Not a lot of people do that. Hey, Will, welcome. Let me show you real quick how you literally move the separators the same way you move a mod. So I'm gonna highlight here 8 LOD, right? I'm gonna left click and hold. I can drag this wherever I want to. See, just like a mod. And if you need to create your own, it's not going to look like the Lotus separator that you chose. It'll look like your own, and I had to do that for a couple things. I have to do it for my college mod. I have to do it for all the TPOS2, well, TPOS2 and its additional content, right? And then I do it for combat. For whatever reason, combat does not have its own. So it's going to look like this. It's not going to have a number. So 23, it's going to skip. 24 will still be the separator that came after it in Lotus, but you can add a separate category wherever you need to do that. And it's pretty easy to do um, the categories. It's literally where you want it. Right click, go to all mods, create separator. Name it what you want, say my my separator, hit OK, and then you'll see it pops up there. Then you can move this, say I want to put this here, it goes there. If I want to put this down here, there you go. To delete it, right click, all mods, and it should be, where is it? Maybe I did it wrong. Oh, I'm sorry, it's on the main one here, remove separator. Are you sure? Because it will prompt you, you know, which is a nice feature, so you don't accidentally delete something that you may need. So for this, I'm going to delete the my separator. This is just a we're dealing with the headset issue again. Yeah, so we're going to delete my separator, so it's gone, instantly gone. Now we'll go back to the topic of LOD. So LOD here is category 8 according to the Lotus. You can move these as you see fit. I see no reason to. My last mod list, which is here for Junal, the Argonian that I played, I basically did the same thing. As you can see, LOD is right here. And I was running Windave's landscape, I believe. So I actually needed terrain LOD. So it's DynDOLOD Resources SE, which is over here. Terrain LOD redone. If you're not using Cathedral landscapes, you're going to want terrain LOD redone right underneath it, okay? That's going to help with your terrain textures and essentially the LOD itself, but you'll understand why with the textures. And then HD LOD textures. So this is more for your architecture. Trees usually have their own. If I pull up, we'll go with enhanced vanilla trees. Okay. Actually, no, we'll go with 3D trees because these have separate ones. Okay, 3D trees and plants by Matthew. Okay, there's 7 files here. His main 3D trees and plants, if you want to add these into your game, you would download this. I do recommend, you know, Gilder Green 3D. Okay. Now he has optional files. These are the this is for the static planters, so for like the pots and everything, and it tells you what it's for. In miscellaneous, underneath this main file, and if you chose either of these other two, if you didn't, don't worry about it. Regardless of which ones you chose, it's going to be a miscellaneous Skyrim 3D Trees and Plants Billboards 4.0. It says SSE Logen. Don't worry about that. You can use SSE Logen with it. It just means it works with both. It will definitely work. Now this one says DynDOLOD Experimental. It's unsupported. I haven't used this yet. I'm not going to. I know that this Billboards 4.0 version works with DynDOLOD. I've done this on every single play. You would download this, and then you would place this. Where is it? Where are my trees here? So vegetation for mountains, grass, yada yada yada. What is it? Mountains, grass, and trees. Okay. So for me, I have 3D trees and plants. I did take the Gilder Green. I took the static planters. Here's my Billboards 4.0. It's directly underneath said mods. If I didn't have Gilder Green and the static planters, then the Billboards would still need to be used, and it would go directly under 3D trees and plants. Make sure the Billboards are at the lowest point of whichever mod required. And let me just turn off notifications because that's going to be bumping in my ear. Make sure you put the Billboards. Now EVT, Enhanced Vanilla Trees, comes with, hey Tim, welcome. Enhanced Vanilla Trees is a little bit different. There's one mod on the page. Should pop right up. It should be the first one. Okay. This is a fantastic tree mod as well. It's got a faux mod, so you get to pick your preference of how you want your trees to look. There is a realistic aspens option. There is a snowy pines option. I do recommend both of those if you are using this. And then of course the main trees You can go vanilla, you can go custom, you can go lush, and there's a couple different options. The billboards are included in this FOMOD for you. There's not a separate one for it. There used to be. It was updated. Obviously, you can see here it's the 24th of August of last year. It was updated. Um, I believe, yeah, the file contents here should be towards the bottom. We're going to go right there. Let me see. It used to be by the bottom. I'm probably looking right at it. Or it's in the middle. Take my word for it. The billboards for it are within. It's the very last option and it's already ticked for you. You don't have to do anything. Hey, Mike. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, enhanced vanilla trees for those that really want something nice and easy to, buff their trees up at the game. If you don't want to mess with, the 3D stuff, if you don't want to mess like with SFO and other things, fantastic options. Got the billboards built in. You can't untick them. If you don't run a LOD generator, it's still okay. It just won't use that particular part of the file. You'll probably have some trees pop in, but it won't be as bad as you think. If you're on PC, obviously, I definitely recommend running some type of LOD generator. Where SSC LOD gen is still the easiest. It's just the one program itself. You run it, it does a little bit of the textures like what TextGen does, but not nearly as in depth, and it's a lot quicker to run. Um, Having said that, I've used it a lot when I first started. Once I made the switch over to DynDOLOD, I've never looked back. Never looked back. Um, it's far superior in every way. Um, I have zero pop in. I have zero pop in with my architecture, my trees. I could see right across the map, depending on where I'm standing. If I'm up on High Rothgar, I could pretty much see everything. And the clarity of it's beautiful. It works perfectly. Um, yeah, so with the DynDOLOD download, you will get both the TextGen x64 program, the exe, you're going to want that one, and the DynDOLOD x64.exe. Sonar, I know you're on Vortex, and I'm unfamiliar with that. Uh, I was a I, when I built Vortex was the way that I was going to go. Um, One of the nice things with at the time having John Rose help me set everything up was he basically threw MO2 at me and said learn it. So I did. Um, and it was a little overwhelming at first, but I'm happy I did. I'm happy I did. Because I really feel like it makes a huge difference. There's a lot of perks to it over Vortex, including keeping your folder nice and neat and clean. I don't know. Let me see if I go to Steam, Steam Apps, Common. I don't think I was working on anything, so I don't think there should be anything. My data folder is the base. Okay. There are no mods in here. There are no other files. There's nothing loose. Right. I did some testing with some stuff. So at one point there was the Xbox archive root when I ported over the SAM mod, the follower mod, and I deleted that this morning. So um so I'm not sure how you do it on Vortex, but you're gonna want to run TextGen first. The program should run the same way that it does on MO2. The same prompts should come up. You should have the same exact options, and the same goes for DynDOLOD. Um, to show you real quick, I will run it, but I'm not actually going to run it. I'll just get to the prompt commands. It's going to look like this. It's going to load. It's going to start to do its thing. You're going to have a little message window pop up here, right? Select your output path. You have to make sure that wherever the DynDOLOD and TextGen output is there. If it's not directed there, you have the ellipses over here, the binary, to browse for your path, and then just select the path that it's at, right? Now, on medium rigs plus, I recommend at least 512. I use 512 for everything. Some of them you may not be able to run. It may be too much of a strain. As you can see, even in Michael's video, he did his with 256. Um, but I know his rig is beefy. He could probably do 512 and be perfectly fine. My rig is pretty beefy. I can do 512 and be perfectly fine. I can do higher than that and be perfectly fine, right? But I stick with 512. These options, these BC7 for the compression, for the diffuse, and the normal, they'll be there by default. I recommend leaving them alone unless you're, well, let's phrase it like this. I'm knowledgeable to a point, but if you're more knowledgeable than me, sorry, headset. If you're more knowledgeable than me and you know what you're going to tweak, check them out. But the default BC7 quick is what I use, what I recommend. And then you would just hit start. TextGen literally does its thing. There's no other thing to do here in TextGen. I'm actually going to cancel this out because I do not want to run it yet. Exit. Now I'm probably going to get an error message here. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, cool. Nothing in my overwrite? No, shouldn't be. Okay. DynDOLOD, I'm going to show you the startup of this. I'm not going to run it because that would take me 13 minutes and I don't want to do it. But I will show you the startup of this. You'll run DynDOLOD afterwards. Now there are steps in between TextGen and DynDOLOD. I'm going to preface what I'm saying with go to the video from GamerPoets from Michael. Okay. What you're going to wind up doing is you're going to go back into the folder for your mods, and it's going to have the TextGen output. Okay. You are going to zip that up, and you are going to come to your wherever you have your downloads. Vortex may be a little different, but for Mod Organizer 2, you're literally going to take it from that folder, the zipped up archive, right, and drop it anywhere in here, and it will pop up with a little icon like this, saying that it's coming from an outside source. I think that's what that means. You double click it to install it. It usually looks good immediately, and that you have to rename it. So I would rename it something like I rename mine TextGen output. I think Michael renames his DynDOLOD textures. And the only reason why I do that is to differentiate that I ran that this is my TextGen file because the other one is renamed DynDOLOD output. So instead of having DynDOLOD textures and DynDOLOD output, I have TextGen output and DynDOLOD output. Just for me, it makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, and BC7 is pretty standard, Sam. Yep. Yeah, yeah. Alternatives uncompressed, and we know about uncompressed textures. Um, After you do that is when you would wind up running DynDOLOD. Now, for Mod Organizer 2, sometimes you have to hit refresh, which is right here. That's perfectly fine. Um, the old way I used to do that is I would actually come to here and I would create an empty mod, and I would name it TextGen output, right? Well, there's nothing in it, so I'd have a little red X here. I'd activate it and everything like that. But once I was done running TextGen, I would literally refresh this. Then everything that was in that folder would populate, this thing would go away, and I knew that all my files were installed for the textures from TextGen. I'd be good. His way is a lot easier, and it's better. So follow that link. If I mess that link up, I will link it in the Discord. I'm sure I want to remove. Yes. Okay. DynDOLOD's you run it the same way. It's going to do its thing. You're going to be prompted with a little pop-up here, and it's going to be your options. There's going to be two, and I think this has changed. There's been an update. So I have to update my DynDOLOD because it's been a while since I've done it. I think I actually have to do that now. I can't really run it. I was not aware of that. Okay, let's exit. So let's do that. What am I on here? Data. We want to go to C. Mod tools. DynDOLOD. DynDOLOD X64 is this version is 2.79. So let's update DynDOLOD here. And it's on LE. So, right here. Okay. Yep, 31st of January. This is why, because I was doing my play and it was on the old version of that. So, of course, I didn't update it mid-play. I didn't know it was updated. I haven't been to the site since the play before that. I think it was on 2.79. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Files. You're going to need two of them here. See, this has been updated, so it's now 2.81. You're going to need, this is the main DynDOLOD here. Okay, this is a manual download. Manually download this. I'll show you what I'm going to do with this. Requires Papyrus Util, which I have, SKSE. And see where it says Vanilla Skyrim LOD billboards? You can use that or you can ignore that. I ignore it because I use different things for it. So I'm going to download this. And then the DynDOLOD resources. This is now 2.81, so I'm going to have to update this as well. I think, let me just check real quick. Go back up. I should be able to hover over this. Oh, see, this version is 2.81. The main DynDOLOD here. Okay, so I only have to do one step here. Let me do this real quick. Let's take it here. Let's let's keep that one up. Let's take my music down. Let's take everything down except for the folder. All right, so here's my mods tool folders. Here is the DynDOLOD folder. Now you'll see hovering over here, it's got version 2.79. Okay, you're literally going to use 7-zip to extract to DynDOLOD. It does it right here. Okay, here's your folder. Open that up. You'll pull this over and you'll open up the DynDOLOD folder. See how TextGen's in here? This will also update TextGen to 2.81 as well. DynDOLOD x64 here, 2.81. So all of these here, you could literally just take them, and it's going to ask you to overwrite all these 8, or it should. 488 files, right? Replace them. Close that out. Then if you hover over this, I may have to refresh this. Let me see. Mod tools, DynDOLOD. Yep, 2.81. DynDOLOD 64, 2.81. That's it. Perfect. The output path should still be the same. How you see this, mine's in mod tools DynDOLOD. So if I go back to MO2 and I check the file path for DynDOLOD, mod tools DynDOLOD, DynDOLOD x64, this doesn't need to be updated because this is still going to be pulling it from this location, which means this updated version is already still here with the -sse argument. You need this for both DynDOLOD and TextGen. Excuse me. There it is. And it will pull both of them. Make sure you have the SSE or -SSE argument for both TextGen and DynDOLOD when you do it. Other than that, it should run now. Let me see here. Let me try it again. If it doesn't, then I'll reinstall it. Not a problem. We'll run it here. You have to have, with this, you have to have the updated, yeah, see how it's going now. Okay. So you get the nice RTFM. Okay. Show this page at start. I recommend leaving it on in case anything happens prior. Okay. Hit OK. You'll be popped with this window. Okay. This is the first one that normally came up. But now it's got the RTFM. Okay. You could do it one of two ways. You could do it right from here if you want to. So you would right click here and select all, and it selects all world spaces. Okay. I'm going to select none. Regardless of how you run this, you're going to want to select all. So if you want to run it from here, select all the world spaces. Make sure your output path is where the DynDOLOD output is. That's going to create that output folder for you. You're going to wind up zipping that up just the same way you did as TextGen. and then you would click a preset, it would load it for you. I do it a little bit differently. I go right to the advanced settings. It's going to pop up another window like this. So it's got the same world spaces in the upper left. This is the first one. You would select all of these. Then you would select between low, medium, and high, depending on, you know, uh, what is it? I was going to say VRAM, but I'm probably wrong about that. It's like using the settings, choosing between like Bethany if you want ultra, how you want the game to run. I always run on high, so I would select high. See, I can move this over a little bit, and you'll see these things update here. Loaded the meshes for candles, and it already loaded. These will come either ticked or unticked. Okay, so I have mine ticked. I just unticked them and ticked them again. It's going to be there. They're already there. Make sure the output path is it's the same as on the first page, and you have the ellipses here of your binary to get there. Data path will be for your game. So Skyrim Special Edition data. Okay, that's where mine is. Okay, yours may or may not be different, but I don't think it will be. Um, Generate static LOD. Leave this on. Texture Atlas. Here's the tile size. So max file size. Again, I stay 512. If you want to use something different, you want to go back to 256. Absolutely. Um, a little more performance friendly. For me, I always do 512. So I'm going to keep it there. Leave generate tree LUD off. You're going to have generate DynDOLOD. You're going to want to select Windows, High, Fake Lights, Child Worlds. The near grid to load and far grid to load, leave these. These will default to 11 and 21. I don't touch them. If you know what you're doing, adjust them. I do not, so I leave them alone. And then even in here, uh, you'll see LODs. You could read up on these. I'm not going to go into them. I don't edit anything in here. A lot of people do. People more knowledgeable than myself definitely do. Um, I'm content with just base how it is. So if you know what you're doing here, by all means, absolutely adjust them as you see fit, right? But I'm going to leave all this alone. All you would do, go back up to the top. Once you have these ticked, this ticked, these three here ticked, leave this alone. Then you generate your LOD brightness. It defaults to 0. Mine that you've seen in my games has been 2. Or I'm sorry, has been -2. If you scroll up, it starts at 0, so it'll look like that. Scroll up. I use -2 for my LOD brightness. Um, when I first used this, I used -3, and things seemed a little off. I tried it at 0, and things still seemed slightly off, and then it was just a matter of testing. I wound up testing -2 next. I was going to go to -1, um, but the LOD brightness of -2 was absolutely perfect for my games. Like it's I'll be honest, it's when you first do it, it's daunting because you're going to be staring at this like, the hell do I do? And that's what I did. And it's repetition. It's like anything else with modding, life, blah blah blah. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And even myself, I mean, look at the people that create the tutorials for this. They could do this stuff with their eyes closed. I can't. I still sometimes either need to follow a guide or go and do like a refresher. Um, and then if you're doing it often, that within a week or less, you could sit down in one day and just go over all this and start doing it the next day, and you've improved by 80% or more, you know. But I recommend doing it over a couple of days, like 2 to 3. Take your time with it. Um, so you definitely want all the world spaces ticked. I don't understand a reason why you would ever want to leave one of these off. If there is a reason, I really haven't read anything about it. I'm sure some people have arguments to leave a certain world space off. Um, but like I said, I don't really mess with it. I tick all the world spaces, um, and I go from there. All you do after that, you just hit OK. DynDOLOD's going to run itself. It'll take you, anywhere between 6 minutes to it takes me 13 to fully run. When I'm done with my full setup, like I'm talking like I'm at 263 mods now. I am probably halfway done, maybe a little more than halfway done. Because I did do some more adding last night. I did a little bit of more modding before um, I popped into Discord this morning. So I got a little further. By the time I'm finished, I'll probably be under 500. You don't have to run a lot of mods to make your game look nice. The thing is, if you have a good solid base, you could use something like just plain old Noble as a base. You could use, I switched over now to running the 20 series mods. I like them now as a base. Um, Skyrim Realistic Overhaul that you find off of, I think it's ModDB. You could use that as a base. You can uh, add texture mods or overhauls on top of that to overwrite. You can follow some of the guides, hide certain folders, hide certain files, if you really want to nitpick at it. Um, and then, really it comes down. I'm going to cancel this out, by the way, so I don't accidentally run it. Yeah, exit. Do I get an error for this? No. Okay. It really comes down to, you'll notice my main textures and my secondary textures here. There's not too much stuff here. I'm always going to run the particle patch, ETD, static mesh, ruins clutter, and then right after ruins clutter, I have to move high poly down. Ignore that for now. Um, would normally be for me noble, but because this setup I'm running the 20 series, I have 18, 19, and 20 with parallax, so I need the parallax shader fix. That's in here. Um, if I was running Skyrim Realistic Overhaul, right after RCI is where I would place that, and then I would probably place Noble after that, or I'd place the 20 series after that because SRO is a little bit bigger. Um, with this, I wound up going with Blended Roads, the Dawnguard and Solstheim landscape overhauls, even though they're touched in here, but I like these better, so I'm overriding obviously. And then you're nitpicking certain things. For my secondary, I wasn't even really going to add them in until I went in game and I went into a cave and I saw the 20 series textures for the cave. And while I liked them, it made me miss things like CC's Mine, CC's Caves, the Underground mod, T4G's Underground. Um, I have Skyline Imperial Forts and Dungeons, John Rose's mod. I don't think I've had a play without his Imperial Forts and Dungeons. There are others. I just like this one. I just kind of wish it didn't have the ESP attached to it for whatever reason. Um, and then, of course, I wound up going into a Nordic Ruin and immediately missed Rudy HQ Nordic Ruins. Immediately. This is my favorite one. This is my preference. Okay. Um, if I wasn't using this, I'd be using John Rose's Nordic Ruins. Or I think there's Ruins HQ. There's a bunch. There's a lot. It really depends on what you're looking for out of your game. So it comes down to personal preference. And of course with Rudy's HQ, there's a couple add-ons here. Normally you would have just the one mod, but with he's got 4K textures for the ruins, chests, urns, etc. The chest add-on itself, which is how you guys see my chest looking so nice in my game. And of course it's overriding SMIM and the previous Rudy above it, but that's what you want. The pots add-on, you know. And then of course I did test in the Dwarven Ruins and I missed geckos, so of course I had to go back and add all these in. And then at that point it's personal preference, things that you like. Of course, stunning statues, Ren shrines. I won't play without either of them. They are covered in other mods above, but this makes them look better and unique. Um, so to add them into your game, yeah, I recommend them absolutely. Um, I would say try without, see if you like it, but definitely try them. And both are a nice full mod installer to pick and choose which HD mesh and uh, texture size you want. I think most are 1K, 2K, and 4K. Um, some go into a little more detail. Some have like an ENB attached to it. If you are running an ENB, if you're on PC, you probably should be running ENB anyway. Although if you're on a lower rig and you don't really want it, then I would recommend Cathedral Weathers or Base Obsidian. Just two of my personal favorites. Although I did try when I started this character, I started it with Vivid Weathers, and God, I forget the name of the ENB that I was running with it, but I liked it. But then I realized how much more I liked Cathedral, and of course that's when Sonar was telling me that uh, Fireman AF was releasing NVT for Cathedral, so that's what I'm running now. Uh, because I did that stream video where we did the little comparison. Oop, there we go. Sorry. And so I wound up going with the NVT Natural View Tamriel for Cathedral Weathers and Seasons. Let me just delete these files because I don't need them anymore. Um, so my LOD setup here, DynDOLOD Resources. This is the 2.81. This is the newest version. I have this. Um, Terrain LOD redone. If you're not running Cathedral Landscapes, and I didn't realize this, and I think Sonar, it might have been you that mentioned it to me. If it's not, I'm sorry. Um, mentioned that I didn't even need it because there's a built-in terrain LOD with Cathedral Landscapes. So now it's not it's off my list. Um, and you'll notice the Cathedral Landscapes is a little bit lower, but generally you want your LOD up above. This is where they go. This is where I put mine. This is how you see them in my game. HD LOD textures, absolutely. And then Majestic Mountains LOD. If you're not using Majestic Mountains, there are other mountains that have LOD files. Um, I found in cases like that to place their LOD files right beneath the mountains themselves, which is technically um, the opposite of the way I have it here. I have my mountain LODs above my actual mountain mod. Um, if we go to vegetation, you see Majestic Mountains is here, Cathedral Landscapes is here, Cathedral Snow is beneath that. Then I start my foliage, my trees, and everything like that. And, yep, Sam. The same could be said for SFO. That should have a an additional lot add-on. Yep, just like you said. Yep. Um, I'll be honest about that too, Sam. Is I've used Skyrim Flora Overhaul. It seems to, I mean, at least for me, I think your rig is beefier than mine, and mine can handle a lot. But with the sheer number of mods that I use, and most of my stuff is 3D, and now 3D with parallax. Um, there were parts, and then you throw an EMB on top of that. I notice a strain. Anytime I go under 56 FPS, I don't like it. And I know that's going to come off sounding a little, I don't know. I hope arrogant wasn't the way it came off. But for me, I'm not running at optimal performance if I'm not like 58 F or 59 consistently. I have to be done with the full setup because I know that the gear that I have can handle it. Now, if I go above, say, 600 mods, which I've done before, yeah, I'm going to have more of a performance hit, but that's okay because I just upped my mod list by like 150 to 175 mods. The majority of them being small 4K texture mods, things like clutter stuff, specific clutter stuff, um, the mushroom retextures. If I wasn't going 2K with my stuff, I'd be going 4K with my stuff, and I'd have a lot more of them. You'll notice I don't really have a lot of other vegetation and stuff. And for like my farmhouse, like I said, the farmhouses textures totally up to preference. They are covered in most of the major overhauls, but if you want something different, I recommend ours. John's Skyland farmhouse is a good one. Shibui, I think the name is, from LE, is a good one, but you have to do a little finagling with that, but it looks fantastic. Unfortunately, with that one, because it modifies the ins, I can't run it because of TPOS2 full. I would much rather have Nesbit's content than a farmhouse retexture that adds in some statics to the ins. I'd rather have his stuff. Um, but there are a bunch of farmhouse textures. Mysterious Dawn, I believe, has one in that pack. If it's not, it's standalone. But it's on the same page, I believe. There's a bunch of them. And then of course, and this is where you get into like, what do you want your game to really look like? At this point, you'll see this category is actually pretty large. I went with a lot of rally stuff. If you haven't seen Rally's mods, check them out. Just type in RALLY. All of them will pop up, or go to Rally's page. Um, and these are things that are individual. They are covered in other mods, as you can see. They're being, excuse me, they are overwriting from the main texture pack for the 20 series, or something above it. For me, I'm able to hover and click on this, and I can see that this is overwriting Ruins Clutter Improved, Static Mesh, and it tells you which textures here it's overwriting. Um, Rudy HQ Nordic Ruins, but because I wanted Rally specific textures, obviously it would be lower. Skeletor, what's going on? I have Renthal's in here too. Hold on, we'll get to Renthal's. Renthal's, and I have to say, I'm not sure if it got ported over to Xbox. You guys that have been in my streams have seen this. So the workbench, the tanning rack, and the wheel, the the water wheel, right? These these are bad boys. We'll go visit the old Nexus and take a look see here. Right, you guys that have seen my games with my last couple characters, that is a tanning rack, right? Now there, I believe is it Miss Matthew? Matthew has a nice tanning rack too, and I used to use Matthew's before I found Renthal, and I actually had Matthew's in because I basically grabbed all of his 3D stuff, and then I realized that I was going to be using this more. You could see his workbench is over here to the side. Um, Compare that to a Vanilla Games workbench, where it's literally a stone slab on some wood. This has everything built in that you would expect a proper workbench to have, at least visually, you know. But the tanning rack is one. I'm not sure how many other pictures. I think there's two pictures. Yeah, here you can see another one. And then of course with the hide, if you use any type of hide replacer, place it lower, you'll get the best of both mods. Um, you will still have Renthals, and this has become a new favorite of mine. I've had this in my last two plays. These three particular mods, I absolutely love them. I do run a leather hide overhaul specific, so I do see both in my games. Um, and there's a few other ones too. Let me back out of here. Yeah, Matthew's here is 3D misc, so his barrels, buckets, butter churn, chopping block and axe, dining set, giant mortar and pestle, mammoth cheese, Markarth cage, traps, Winterhold gate, woven fence, and then we get into Gamwitch's stuff here. Well, Gamwitch's stuff is strewn about in its proper place. Uh, but yeah, the Renthal stuff is absolutely gorgeous. That's why I'm curious as to if it was ported over to console. I'm not sure about the perms for it. I probably should have taken a look, but um, I think that's one that's like 50-50, or it was ported over at one point. Legally, I should say, it was legally ported over at one point, but then they, the OMA either didn't want it or something happened or whatever. But they're all fantastic. If you're on PC, definitely, absolutely. I know there's other ones too. I like these. I love these. These are beautiful. Um, More textures. Obviously, like I said, I was following the Nordic guide, and I was also using my old mod list here This was from Junel's play. So there's different things in here. You'll see more of the rustic stuff in here, and I go even specific with the animated clutter. Well, this will overwrite static mesh and a couple other things, but I have it loaded higher up because I noticed in my last play the spider egg sacks didn't have the animation, and I realized mid play that I had it loaded too low, so I raised it up in the mod list here. But things like, yeah, my Leatherhide 2K alternative. So when you see this in game, I'll wind up pointing that stuff out. The 4K Hag Raven House, for the fur tent 4K retexture, and then the Hunter's fur tent that you see the tiny little hunter camps. That's on this mod page. This is an optional file. Um, I take both. I like them. You can see that it's overwriting the base. So those two files there, the normal and the main. So you don't need it, but like I said, once you have your base mods down, go in game and test. You don't have to worry about the LODs necessarily, but go, console command, turn all the map markers on, go around, look at things before you go, and um, go step by step. Take your time with it. You know, um, no need to rush this. Like I can spend anywhere from a couple days to weeks setting it up. One of mine took me close to a month. And it wasn't a lot of mods. It was just going in game, and I wanted it to look a certain way down to grass density, textures. What is it, like textures per whatever in the ini. I kept going in and tweaking it, saving it, going back into game, coming back out. I'd go to a different world space. I'd go from like the Rift to Markarth to Falkreath to Whiterun, etc. Just taking a look to see, and then I would go back out. I would tweak it a little bit more. So it can be daunting. It's not like setting it up on your Xbox. And the other plus side to that is everything on Xbox needs at least an ESP. You have to have something to tell the console that it's a mod. So there's like, when I ported over Pretty Lantern Replacer, there was no ESP with that. I had to create one. The Hagraven House 10 texture can be renamed. That's the one that you didn't you just add Hagraven, or am I thinking of Snow Elf or Falmer texture? I know you added one to the graphics pack recently, and it's one that I use on here. It's a separate one. It was a nice addition, by the way. It was a really nice addition. Um, I did throw Glorious Doors in here. I know this was requested, so it's a huge file. It's got all of them. I do have to test the one in the Tower of Mizark though, because I believe that's the only one people said there was a small issue with the animation not working and the door not opening. Um, so I'm gonna test that at some point to see. I think they said it was fixed. This was an update uh, to version like 1.02. So I believe it's okay, but I'll still go in and test it. Worst case scenario is it's not fixed yet. Um, I'll be able to console my way right through the door anyway, so it doesn't look like it matters. The Falmer, yeah, that's it. The Falmer overhaul. They look. I have them in here too somewhere. Geez, I don't know. They might be higher up. Let me see here. Yeah, I went with Skyland road signs for this one. A little bit different. I was using El Sopa's for the last play, but I went with John's for this one. And his Point the Way patch because I do use Point the Way for this. And WizKid signs. I was going to use Matthew signs, but WizKid just updated this. Um, and now there is a sign for Birna's Oddments in Winterhold. And they are quite good. They are quite good. You get a little bit of the fantasy, um, but the signs are beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous, and they're not overboard. Am I playing the entire game? No, I still have setting up to do. I still have, let's see, all these categories to do. Like I said, I'm close. I'm close. These are the ones here. I got finished with my textures. I'm basically on my well, I'm not going to put additional NPCs in the game, but I'm basically starting the weapons and armor next. But I was going to go in game now just to see how everything looks without the LODs being done. So if you guys notice like messed up LODs, ignore them. I didn't run them yet. But I want to see like how this goes. So we can actually do that. I'm going to get an error or two with loot for patches and things like that. But you guys know I only have one error. And I know this is the immersive jewelry error. How much do you want to bet? Let's bet me. Right there. Summer mist and immersive jewelry. So even with the patch, you'll still get the error. And it doesn't really patch. Or at least loot doesn't recognize that it patches. So, you know, not a big deal. We could do that. We can go in game and take a look. You're going to see some different things, I think. Let me just make sure all my plugins are right. I have to make sure Alright, so both the alternate starts at the bottom here. Alright, let me boot up. I'm going to switch my game capture on, turn my display capture off. You guys are going to see a black screen for a minute, and we'll do a really quick test nord. Mr. Sans Testicles, and we'll go take a look. We'll turn all the map markers on and all that fun stuff. Because I've added a lot since yesterday. Like I said, by the time I basically closed down my Discord on here, and I worked for probably another hour, adding and removing, going in game, taking a look at things. But then I wound up adding all of my home stuff, my individual textures, for the most part. All right, let's see. E and B should be the same. It'll pop up on your screen in a second for you guys. And let me know what you think of the main menu replacer. I'll leave it on for a second here before we do new. I like it. It's a little different. I am running Dear Diary, so I did have to reinstall Dear Diary. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Skeletor. And the music. Yep, Win. Thank you. I love it too. So I had to reinstall Dear Diary just to take Dear Diary's main menu off. So you can do that. You could have that option. You could have a second main menu replacer with or without music. Now this had a different version. For those of you running SFO, okay, there is a version of this main menu replacer for SFO users that has falling petals from the tree. Or, well, technically it'll fall throughout your screen, nice and light, you know, nothing too heavy. And it looks really nice, but it's only for users of SFO full, not the trees only version. You have to have the full version. Otherwise, get this one. And this version here comes with or without the large Skyrim logo. I wanted the Skyrim logo just because when I start up my stream, I want people to see that's the game. Not that you don't know what I'm streaming, but you know, I like it. It is a large icon, but you know, it beats the base vanilla one. So let's do that. Let's and you can see how Dear Diary is still popping up here. I still have some of the options enabled. So I don't have race menu, nothing like that. We'll do a test here real quick. R. Here's my test nord. I have no interior lighting, anything like that. Ignore my HUD for right now. We're gonna let my mods load up, or some of them. I have to move growl. It will detect this. Growl needs to be placed low in your load order. There are area edits. If Enai has not told you this, there are area edits within growl. Place it lower in your load order. The area edits being werewolf spawns. Not that I'm going to give away because they are random, so it's not like they're in certain areas, but you do have werewolf spawns and they will come after you. So be prepared. I added Hunterborn in. Who knew? And you can already see stunning statues. Right? Let's clear a couple things up first. Ooh, wrong one. Let's clear a couple things up in the MCM first. Matter of time. Presets. Load user settings. Yes. Make sure you wait for this to say successfully configured, then hit enter. Do not back out. I found that messed things up when I did it. Immersive HUD. Activation. You want to throw your key press toggles on and link all widgets from SkyUI. Yes. Back out of there. Go back in. The widget mod. By the way, thank you, Tim. Maintenance. Load user settings. Done. So now it looks like this. And I can hit the X button and hide my HUD when I need it.
Approach, my child, and choose where your new life shall begin.
Alright. We are going to just start. We'll use one of Arthmore's. We'll just start. We'll own property, I think.
Which property do you own?
And I usually like to start at Breezehome, because Whiterun's the main city.
Even a modest existence is something to admire.
Yeah, I do 512. 256 would be absolutely fine. I do 512 because mine can handle it. Sam's can handle it. I think, Sam, you're running the 2080 Ti? Skelter, so this, if you're referring to the HUD and the setup, this is a conglomeration of several mods together to give this effect. You notice when I immediately loaded up, it looked like a big jumble of a lot of stuff. Then once you set them, you'll have a nice... You could run Sky HUD or less intrusive HUD. There are two versions to run, but you can't run both. You have to pick either the Sky HUD version or the less intrusive HUD version. All the rest of the mods are the same. But it looks really nice. And on top of that, let me just lock this real quick. So where I have like the Astrolab up here, you get to choose through 4 variants of, or 4 pictures of what this is, and then this entire setup could be slimmed down a little bit. Same with your main menu here and the compass and everything like that, as well as your, if you look in the bottom, I know it's going to be dark, the time, your gold, your carry weight. This is from I Need, which I always, actually here, I'll move I Need for you real quick just to show you. Let's do I Need. Let's get I Need off first. We'll go basic. I'll actually set my hunger rates to what I normally set them to and everything. Thirst would be 2. Fatigue would be 1. Turn your I Need actions on. Go to your notifications. I do mine in first person. And then my position right here. So it's bottom right. It's where you see it in the corner there. I put this to middle right. For the default color, I choose green, and the style is going to be color based. And now you'll see it changes, and it's right there on the right hand side. So it's out of the way. Your active effects will appear right above it, and any other effects from I Need will be below it. You can get away with it at the lower right, but I like it in the middle. It's noticeable to me. So it's not clumping over my carry weight or my gold or anything like that. So. And like I said, I am setting up a full TPOS2 setup with this. So we'll start in Breezehome. Now you're going to see a lot of the 20 series textures immediately. This is all, and it's dark. and you'll see some high poly stuff, but you'll see a good mix. Okay. With Legacy in, you'll see books looking nicer. Like I said, I don't have any interior lighting yet. This is all base vanilla lighting, which, to be honest, doesn't look terrible. It's dark where it's supposed to be. It's lit up where it's supposed to be. It could be a little bit darker for the candlelight, I think. People with more knowledge than me would absolutely tell you one way or another, you know, if it is or it isn't. But let's take some Cyrodiilic brandy, which looks different now. I like that. Let's see what I have. Let me just... We'll favorite the hunting bow, we'll favorite the mace, we'll equip this, and then hunting bow will be on 4. Right. And then of course just, you know, test Nord. He won't be a Nord when I play, we'll be doing a Bosmer. So let's go take a look at some of the things here. So I own Breeze Home. These are all the 20 series textures. The floor is noticeably different than Noble. The foods, everything from high poly. Now high poly is being overwritten a little bit, so I have to move it lower. So you'll wind up seeing more of the high poly stuff. I didn't really care for high poly too much. On console it was kind of a drain. It was a little hard for me to run it with static mesh. Let's go out into the city. You need a PC, Skeletor. We should take up a collection. We'll start a GoFundMe. Oh, I have a new loading screen replacer. These will pop up. I'll go through doors and I'll let you guys tell me what you think.
We'll pay whatever it takes. We must have more swords for the Imperial soldiers.
Religion. I am using Winter Sun as the base of most of my plays. I'm just going to select Kinnereth so I can move around quicker. I'm not going to, obviously. So let's brighten the day up here. Let's get rid of this rain for right now.
That stubborn pride of yours, and ask Yorland Greymane for help.
Now you'll notice with
I need a Ulfric Stormcloak.
there's an issue, right? And it's just a,
Take the job, but don't expect a
you can
miracle.
see Renthal, right? You can see the 2020 textures. Let me oh yeah, and the doors. I did add the doors in, as you can see. This is Nordic Life. This is Nesbit's Whiterun mod. For those of you that have seen it, you already know.
You see those warriors from Hammerfell? They've got curved swords.
I've got a curved sword.
Swords.
And you'll notice, there we go. Renthals. That's how it looks in game. It is a work of art. Now, obviously, you can harvest the Tundra Cotton. You can't pick anything up on it, but, you know, to use it, it's pretty nice. Same thing with the tanning rack that Adrian's on. Right. I do have to find something for the smelter, but you'll see high poly here. Something I didn't notice. Sonar pointed that out to me again. Thank you, Sonar. Matthew's 3D trees, his plants.
Got some good pieces out here.
Obviously the Renthal's
More
flora,
inside.
right? Dragon tongue.
How can I help you, brother?
Let's do this. Let's toggle all the map markers on. Toggle God mode on, just in case. So you can see. Now my map's gonna look like crap. And I don't have all the TPOS2 mods in yet. So I don't have TPOS2 in because I haven't got to that section yet. But you'll notice with Nordic Life there's some little additions. The Watcher statue, he will, you know, he will turn and he will face you, just like Sovngarde. You'll see Matthew's works. Right? And I'm really happy to be using 3D trees again. So Nesbit has tastefully added in things where I feel they should be. A lot are just static, a lot are, you know, they're nice visuals. And he does have Matthew's work inside of the Nordic Life mod itself, but you can see the contrast between the 2020 textures and what he's done. Between Fuchsia's and Matthew's work combined in Nesbit's mod, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I had considered adding Luxor's red roofs, but it would definitely clash with this. On my old setup, it was nice because it was noble and it looked really good. I left the 20 series alone for the roofs. I'm not going to go that in depth with them. Thank you, Gina. Thank you. And you'll notice, you know, more high poly, right? The Elves. And I think there's a few. Oh, no. But you'll see. We can start Hunterborn. Oh, there's some blood up here. What's up here? Skull. Oh, hey, there's a chest. I didn't know about any of this. Didn't know anything about this. It's not there. Right? You can see the 20 series. The more that I look at it, the more I've grown to like them combined together. The hanging moss will also be. I haven't gotten to that mod yet, but we're going to be changing the hanging moss. So yeah, little things like this. There was an outhouse somewhere. Where was that? I could have sworn it was over here. Maybe I passed it. I don't know. I probably did. There it is, over there. And I did stick with the 20 series cobblestones. These are the base ones that come in the 20 series. There is a more refined version. I added it in, and you guys know that I streamed it. I felt like this looked a little bit better for what I'm going for personally. Right? Now, the refined cobblestones look freaking amazing. This is all Nesbit here. This is Nordic Life. You'll know JK's and Dawn of Skyrim also add in something a little similar. Let me get a sip of water. I can refill my water skins and drink while I'm here. I am tired though. I'm starting to get tired. And I don't have any NPC overhauls or anything like that, but let's so you can see WizKid signs, and you can see the Pretty Lantern replacers. I've grown to really like WizKid signs. They can pretty much get loaded into any setup and look like they belong there. I used to use Matthew's 3D signs, but if I was going for a more fantasy look, the 3D signs seem to kind of get overlooked by the rest of your setup. Do you know? I was going to go with Lanterns of Skyrim 2, but because of certain... I want to say conflicts is probably the best word to say. Nothing that's going to crash your game or break... Well, it breaks immersion for me. Right. So these are all things added by Nordic Life. Some are harvestable, some are static. We'll take a look where we're going the main door for the Bannered Mare, and I'll let you guys that haven't seen it yet have. I really am liking the doors, by the way. The doors was absolutely Will. So if Will, if you're here, thank you. Suggestion was amazing.
Take a seat by the fire, and I'll send someone over.
So we don't know anything about that. I do kind of wish it was a little bit lighter. I have to get ELFX loaded in.
Sadie, dear?
Yes, Mom?
I'll be needing you to mop the place down extra tonight. Lots of space.
Certainly.
Although the Bannered Mare is one that's not really the best to show you Who's knocking stuff over? Is that you, Hulda? That was you. You could see the textures from the 20 series right behind. It's like a stucco. I call it like a stucco. That's pretty much what it is. Right. I'll be honest though, from my end, the lighting's pretty nice. No flickers. I obviously don't have the candle smoke, and that is something that I want. Mercenaries Journal. Let's take that. I know what that is. I don't want to steal anything. Go back out into the city. Other tiny little details with the 20 series, something like this. Now Noble has it too.
Hulda's the one to talk to.
You'll notice it more in Dragon's Reach. It is quite nice, and I haven't seen the Dragon's Reach door yet.
You know nothing. Nothing of our struggles.
No, she knows nothing about that.
I spend a lot of time at the market stall so I can learn the merchant's trade. I need more experience if I'm going to...
Obviously vanilla water, I haven't gotten to water yet. But there's the Watcher statues up by Dragon's Reach, the big two. Stunning statues. And then Ren shrines. I took the rusted steel or the rustic steel instead of the rustic copper for Talos. And then of course, my favorite, the horse statues. Now this is the we see with the hanging moss. Sometimes we have to fix that. Like I said, we're going to be fixing that. I have to fix. It's on the stone wall. That's what I have to fix. But if you look at the stones, so these are the 20 series. But then this is from Majestic Mountains. I took the normal version with the normal LOD, obviously. So it's going to be a little more, I guess, muted. Colors is the word. But that's exactly what I'm going for. I want earthy feels, earthy tones, with a little bit of color mixed in, with a lot of 3D elements, is what I'm going for. And I'm at 60 FPS. With my E&B is enabled, so... But you'll notice on the 20 series textures, I never noticed this before. Maybe it was there with Noble, but I never noticed it. It's very pronounced.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
Obviously the Watcher statues.
I took an arrow in the knee.
You did take an arrow in the knee. Right? And they will turn and they will face. And there's the glorious doors. I like them. I really like them. Yeah, with the moss I have to go and I have to hide. Now you could see here how it's more noticeable on the pillars at the base. That's like the immediate first thing you know. Or I'm sorry, that you notice that you'll see.
They say
Right?
the college has been snooping around Sarthal.
That's a beautiful design.
Mages in a Beverly crypt.
When you get up close it looks a little, well, you know, it's a good 5-footer. But I'm very happy with the wood textures. Like I said, lighting has to be done. I should have the workbench. Now I don't have the compatibility patches yet. But you'll notice now it's got this is the brown variant, right? Because I wanted it to match, not the green. So it does have the dragon on the enchanter. I will fix the candles because the candles look like absolute garbage. And you can see this is the 4K, so it's got slightly glassed over, whereas the 2K just looks like it's like a matte type color. And it's a little dark. I don't think I have a torch on me. I don't know if... No, I don't. But we'll be cleaning up the alchemy bench a little bit too. This is an addition. So the maps in the game, wherever they're at, the static maps have been updated. And then if you look at the stonework behind Balgriff, you could see everything right above. Where you have it at the base of the pillars, it's also right there above the dragon skull, the stone. We're going to do armors. We're going to get Irilith out of the elven gold,
Need
and we'll
something?
put her in a nice gold and black. Now, obviously you could see textures meeting textures, but this looks beautiful to me. It may annoy some people. I'm okay with it. I think these floors are beautiful. They're well done. Same with the rugs. Design of the Nords for the banners. I always go with Design of the Nords on PC. I like any ads. I like Design of the Nords better. Again, personal preference. And you see the contrast with the door between the woodwork of the door and the metal and the stonework around it, which I think is a very, very nice touch. You can see it all throughout. And then as you see the map here, you can see it's much more detailed than and the table itself. You can see everything. It's just like opening your map, like if you had the paper map or something like that, right? Let's get outside. I believe, yeah, because I don't have TPOS2 fully installed yet, so you won't see any of the landscape edits or anything like that. Yeah, that's exactly it, Tim. It's a little bit old with a touch of modern. Well said. Depending on where you load ELFX, you won't have the flicker sim. And make sure you have the static mesh patch. And there are other patches for it.
City's quiet enough now.
City is quiet enough.
Sun goes down. Best keep on your guard.
So that's not bad for vanilla water. I mean, it's, it's not the best. But that is vanilla water.
Be glad you're here in the city.
But it doesn't have the
Out in
plasticky
river
look.
where
If I turn the EMB off,
swords don't even have a ward.
right? That's noticeable. That's vanilla plastic cellophane water. With the EMB on with no water mod. A little blue, yeah. But it looks better. But there's no flow. There's no flow like there would be with realistic waters too. It gets a little bit better here, I think. Now, still kind of has the. We may clean that up. We'll probably go cathedral for the water.
I know your family's honor is important to you, but we can't afford it.
It took me weeks to find that thieves' den. I can't stop now.
Right? Nothing really out of place. Nothing, To adjust my depth of field too is another thing. Hello, chicken. And then Clan Battleborn. Should be what, Amryn's house? Yep. And there we go with the death bells. I moved them, so now they should all be red. Same with the nightshades. You'll see nightshades like this from Renthal.
Patron of the great clan Battleborn.
And you will also see the black nightshades. It's a really nice combination.
Come to chat with an old woman.
And another thing too I like about Nordic life is this little area here. Not a lot of people come here, but obviously, yeah, we gotta do something about the hanging moss. Because that's an eyesore to me. Right? But as far as everything else, I feel like it looks good so far. We have to clean up, I have to clean up the smelter. And I am debating on putting Eleonora's breeze home. I think it might be too much. But I also feel like it may fit in well. I don't know. I may leave Breeze home alone. I think it looks okay as it is. And of course, that's one one more mod that I probably don't need, but no, well, I haven't used Realistic Water 2 in quite some time. I'm very content just using Cathedral Water. It's got the edge fix. It looks great. There's a couple different versions to choose from. And I don't sit there and stare at the water flow enough. And with Realistic Water 2 in, I tend to have more issues, meaning water seams. So obviously the LOD, like I said, LODs aren't generated. But let's do this. I feel like I'm missing a mod. Because this is Cathedral Landscapes. And I was playing around with it earlier. And I feel like I'm missing something. You'll notice pop in. Just, like I said, ignore it for now. In actual gameplay, it won't be there. And this is a good testing area here. So let's advance time a little bit. 4, 5, 6. Let's go to 7 p.m. Am I hungry? No, I'm really thirsty. I don't want to die. Yeah, I know. So this is Cathedral with NVT. Obsidian Mountain Fogs, of course. Without the LODs being generated, that's what happens to the watchtower. You need the watchtower fix. I have it installed, I just don't have the LODs run. When I get closer, that will go away. It should. It'll pop at you. Right there. There you go. Once you generate LODs, that'll look identical to that. Mud crab. Alright, so we'll get out of combat again. Let's go back to ye old testing grounds. So right here is kind of where I do my landscape. Do I like it? What do I want to change? Everything's out in the open for me. Hanging moss that I might like, Tim? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and I have Stargazer's Moons. The no-glow version. And you'll see why in a minute. Let's advance time 1 hour. It'll be 7, 8, almost 9 p.m. And if I force the weather, I think it's good, but we're going to do it anyway. Alright, so now this is a perfectly clear night. The clouds, ethereal clouds, stargazers. I can't wait to see what Whiterun's going to look like when LODs are generated. You're obviously not going to see Luxor stuff. You won't see the nice red roofs, but you'll see like a muted brown. It'll almost look green, but they are like a tannish brown. Just the landscape itself. I have no grass mod on. Right? Just Cathedral Landscapes. Let's advance time 1 more hour to 10. I still don't have any fire mods, so what you're seeing is vanilla. And we'll go to 11, we'll go to 12. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so 5. Here we're getting start of the sunrise here. And of course you can see when you move away from the tower, just like I said, ignore that. It's nothing I can do. Let's force the weather again. So we have a nice, clear... 1 more hour should do it. Yep, there we go. And of course I will go in and I will adjust cathedral weathers slightly. What else do I have in Markarth? I don't have TPOS 2, so you won't see the heights. Actually, I kind of don't want to show that. You could already see the majestic mountains on my map. I don't even have LODs done yet, but you'll notice if you look, the mountains are more pronounced. Right? Let's go up here. Awesome, Tim. Thank you. Oh, jeez. Little bugger. Get away. Give me my arrow back. No. It does seem overly bright though, doesn't it? Let me just double check here. No, bloom is off. I usually play with the bloom off. I already adjusted the rain. I'll have to go in and adjust the ENB settings again. So for right now, we'll leave it. Looks terrible without the LODs done. It's Fort Sunguard. Yep. And again, like I said, very happy I switched over to the normal version of Majestic Mountains. The dark with the setup were, I mean, they stood out, and I was happy with them at first, but the more that I looked at it, the more I'm like, no, I need things to be a little more neutral. So it was a matter of just, you know, reinstalling the mod, taking the normal option. Yeah, look at that. There's nothing there. Oh boy. Except for the trees. You can see the trees. Let's see. Oh, it's popping in. There it is. Let's watch the pop in. Get your popcorn ready. Oh yeah, look at that over there in the distance there. See the oh yeah. Yeah. Did I hear giant? So let's look at some of the farmhouse textures. That's ours. Ours is what you'll see. You'll see the 20 series and ours farmhouse wood. This is why this is my favorite here. I know it may look a little dark on your screen. I apologize for that, but we'll get to some in the sunlight here.
What did I do? I told you to weed the garden by sunset, and you didn't do it. Now you're in big trouble. Pop,
Hey, leave chicken alone. Oh, you little bitch. Yeah, I got him. Did I save your chicken? Where'd he go? So yeah, ours. It is kind of hard to tell, but it's, like I said, it's my favorite of the wood textures that I've used. John's would be my next choice. His Skyland Towns and Villages. And then we have a unique to go with static mesh, the fence. This is completely different. This is not something you've seen in any of my games before. This is a brand new mod, and I'm gonna fail on remembering its actual name. I saw it, I looked at it, I tested it once before, I liked it, I kept it in. Pretty simple.
Everything's in order.
It may not be everybody's game, but we got nice animations for the pots. Yep. Let's see what else to do. What else to do? The pop-in pane window, yeah. But it's nice to be back with Matthew's trees. And every tree different. I like that comment. I actually took EVT out completely. I completely took it out. We're running just Matthew's trees this time now. And ETD. I could throw it back in, but, you know. Also ignore the fact that I haven't added any patches yet. I have no patches added. So, you know, nothing for the stone walls, nothing for... Do I have my home mod? I do have my home mod. It might be floating. Bandits. Hey, I'll get myself some armor. Oh, you got an injury. You're down. You tried. You rolled. Still pelt ya. I missed him. I'm still terrible with the bow. Alright, give me your armor. What do I have? Fur helmet. Let's get rid of the mace. I like axes. Get studded armor. Take that. An ale. I want to see my home. Damn you. Bastards. I'll be the only Bosmer that's terrible at archery. Come on. Up, 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 up. Yeah, you heard something. Got her. Yeah, it's all clear now. Except for you.
Come along, no more
Oh, you're a
silence.
pilgrim, okay.
We need to find our way to solitude.
Why are we going to a wedding at this far-flung end of the future anyway?
Okay.
I told you, it's the wedding of Victoria.
Except they killed him too.
Extremely well connected.
Card of Shadows. Don't worry about that yet. Alright. More bandits. Or wolves. Something. Let's try and get over to my home real quick. Ah, mud crab. Let's do a little bit of the old hippity hop. There we go. Are they still around? Yeah, they're around. These should be bandits, I think. Oh yeah, they're running back up. They're the ones that attacked the giants right outside Rorikstead. They come and attack my chickens, but my chickens are apparently gargoyles. Alright. This will be my home. Their rent. Oh, so is that who that? So R is Renthal. I probably should have made that connection. I am a dum-dum. Are they still up there? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, let's go. Really? Where are you coming? Alright, I can't shoot for my life. This is the chief here. I'm gonna have to get rid of the rolling animation, that's annoying as hell. I don't see any chief doing that in heavy armor. You're boxing with God, chief. Really? Yeah, well. Arrow to the knee, arrow to the ass, same thing. was hoping they'd go up and fight the giants, so we could see some space orbit flying, but I guess not. What are they hiding? Are you hiding by the tree? Two yes. It's butterfly, peacock butterfly. Nice. You could. Oh, that's another chief. Look at that. Come on. I want that warhammer. I see your buddy shoot me.
Think you can take me?
Oh, I disarmed you. You didn't like that, huh? Let's take all your stuff. Where is this chief here? Come on. Yeah, come on. Come on, you got the longer reach. Oh, you got an injury. Come on. Yeah. Little bitch. Let's clad him in iron, huh? Am I carrying too much to be able to run? Okay. Let's do this. Let's, and for the hell of it. Drop, 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 drop. And we'll take off the... Now we'll equip that. Okay. Every Nord ever. Can I see my home now without having the mark? Is there really another guy? They're driving me nuts. It is. Take your septums though. Okay, now are we good? No, one more. Yes. Didn't like that. Always get a great sword, even better. Alright. Now, can I finally go to my home after I eat? I'll have some ale, some milk. Yeah, we'll eat some raw meat too, why not? I would like to. Thank you! Okay, we're good. Let's go look at my home. My beautiful, beautiful home. With my gargoyle chickens. So I've added in Iconics Hay. I took the first main file, which has a reddish variant. The house mod. This is Elysdriel. This is Eleonora's work. It is Bosmer themed. It is an LE mod. I ported it to Special Edition. I believe the file is available. I can't remember which room I pinned it in. I did save it somewhere. Elysdriel. It's on LE. If you search by Eleonora by user, you'll find this file pops up. I think it's the third one in. It's a beautiful, beautiful mod. As she states on her page, it is Bosmer themed, although in the lore the Bosmer didn't actually build into the trees, they used the trees themselves. But this is very nice. You'll see some overlap, but that's okay. We'll fix that. Everything has custom sound. And you'll see the dual... That may be a clash. I may actually have to drop Renthals below that, because I have the home mod loaded lower. You see the workbench is okay though. But it does have drawers. Something to note for myself, okay. And then you have a little wood chopping station. My goats. I have a bristleback somewhere. He's roaming somewhere. He kind of guards the place. A little AP area over here. Right, bees and honeycomb. I guess I'm gonna have to drop Mari's death bells below this too as well. So something else to note. And you have a garden. You could plant things here. Very, very standard home. It just looks really, really nice. And it's in a really nice location. Tomato plants. Now, squash vines. There's a couple uniques here. Okay. This takes you to the grotto. Yep. You said it will, exactly. A little bit of magic. So this will take you to the grotto. Poison bloom. Be careful with these. Right. I'm taking some damage. There's another poison bloom over there. There's one over there. Be careful in here. So this has a shrine to Kinnereth. Ooh, there's the bow. Grab that. Galadriel. Hunter's arrows. Poison fungus. What are these, you may ask? Fungal poison. There's a couple other statics. So, this comes with her home mod, Galadriel. Ancient Blessed Bow for a follower of Kinnereth deals minor poison damage immediately. Same with the Hunter's arrows. They look quite nice. I'm obviously going to use the Frostfall belt fasten quiver with this character. It is quite a nice bow. But the shrine is down here. This is the grotto. And obviously with some lighting it'll look bigger. The fungal plants you can harvest. And you can kind of hang out in here, relax. You know, it's a nice place. The poison blooms are there. This is the smaller section of the home. Let's see, we got bees and torch bugs. So yeah, you can see the death bells that are, these are Mari's, these are the options I chose, other ones are going to be purple. Where's my bristleback? There he is. He just kind of hangs out here and does his own thing. He hangs out with the goats. Two brothers. She did a fantastic job with this. Like I said, I had to come in game to see this to really appreciate it. I fell in love with it on the mod page, and then I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to do the port properly, and the first time I did it, it came out absolutely beautiful. And right, so. You'll see Peltapalooza going on in my armchair. Some shrooms. When the LODs are generated, wait till you see the view. I did check this out once and it was absolutely stunning. It's in a really nice location. Look on your map, it's Elysdriel, it's right here. Crabber Shanty, there's Ortheim. I think the giant camp is somewhere in here. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, Talking Stone Camp. We're right near that. It's a nice location. Dead Man's Respite, Robber's Gorge. We're right by Morthal. Morthal, you know, with Nesbit's Overhaul, I mean, that's my favorite small town. Well, it's a major hold, technically, but it's really a town if you think about it. It's my favorite. We're right by Morthal. So you have Lavender Thistle, Creep Cluster. There's a lot of harvestables. You have another unique crafting station added to her home. She's got places for certain things too. So your bookshelf, you have mask displays right there. Okay. There is Tenuvio. Absorb 50 points. We're actually going to take it this time. Let's do this. Take the hunting bow off the favorites. Take the war axe. We're going to put this on. So Galadriel will be 4. Tenuvio will be 1. Steel Warhammer would be 2. If you recognize its mesh, which you should, I'm forgetting the pack that it might be in. Immersive weapons, I think. Pretty standard as far as daggers go. Arrow crafting station. There's the notes on arrow crafting. Okay. So this will be something we'll be using once, because I said this character is actually going to be doing crafting. I usually never do. I use honed metal. Bigger than Whiterun? Legendary cities, huh? I'm pretty familiar with that mod. Disenchanting font. Glassbow the Stag. So it has places for certain bows. Glassbow the Stag Prince, you have Zephyr and Oriel's bow. Along with your, your storage. Alchemy Lab's a little different. I kind of like it. We're not going to really use it. There are poisons. Where are they? Like I said, I think the, what do you call it? The hitboxes on a lot of her stuff is very, very narrow. Poisons, oh, they're there. Recipe for arrow crafting, yep. Search poisons. And I know it's dark and I apologize for that. Rustic cooking. Had to throw that in. Absolutely had to. So the Paragons. Initiates Ewer, right? Misc items, so you have some storage. Couple mannequins, I believe there's one downstairs, and then of course your uniques. A display case, your clothing, unique weapons, gems, armors, bows, weapon barrel, arrows and bolts, your bed. Oh, and Staff of Ellie's Wrath. Hell hath no fury. Like, I'm gonna take it this time. And of course I'm carrying too much, why wouldn't I be? Let's see what it does. Let's put down the Iron Greatsword. Leave it right on the bed. I'm gonna delete the save anyway. I'm curious. Does this do flame damage? Let's do this outside. Yeah, at least Jill Skeletor. I have the file. If you were interested. I have the... Oh, and this is the hut. I'm sorry. This is the other part to show you. Instead of going down, so you have a place for your followers and or spouse if you didn't want them staying in your bed for whatever reason. Again, safe storage. There is a footlocker here at the bottom. There's a bed here. There's a bed here. There's bunk beds. So maybe this is the children's room. I don't know. But safe storage. Bunk beds. Right? Small and cozy, quaint. Keeps them protected. They're high up in a tree. With EMB light, because I still have to add EMB light. I wonder if that's missing on purpose or if that's something No, I think that's part of the mod. I think that's her mod. Yeah, because they're all like that. Okay. Well, it's a little bit older mod. It's, but she does really good work. And then, of course, like I said, my mushrooms here in Amir's Rot. defense. Ooh. Really? Interesting. I have no idea what's causing that. Or if that's supposed to be like that. I mean, I'm never going to be going off the side of the cliff like that anyway, but... And you do have some stuff for target practice from up on top of the bridge, or you could do it from down here. Yeah, nice little place to sit here. What I'm assuming is Jazz Bay grapes. We already went over the crafting station, and then, yeah, like I said, the chickens. They're gargoyles. They will chase away anybody that comes on your property. And it's really beautiful. It's right by the falls. Too bad you can't get water out of the bucket. That's my only... I mean, this is all static. I can't do anything with this. But I'm really happy about it. I like it. Let's get up closer. Let's turn the time of day. We'll get up here. We'll advance the time of day slightly. My bristleback's hanging out. This is probably one of the better shots you can see. Time of day 3, 4. Let's go to 6, 7. Alright. You can craft a water bucket and place it on that well if you want. I could, couldn't I? That's right, I could. I'm gonna have to before I even start this play, I'm gonna have to familiarize, because I added back in CCOR, complete crafting. I really want to learn the intricacies of that mod. I had Ars, excuse me, my voice is going. I had Ars Metallica as a safety net, but the more I'm thinking about it, the more I really wanted to use that mod, but it's a little foreign to me, so I'm going to try to familiarize myself with it the best I can, so that by the time I start to play, it's not going to be me fumbling through the menus and things like that. Ours would have been perfectly fine, but I do really want to use the mod. So complete alchemy, CACO, and CCOR are both in my game. Let's see here. Let's find what's the unique. See, this is the part where I really wish I had TPOS2, at least the base loaded, but I haven't gotten that far in my load order yet. And I don't like to jump the gun with that mod. I like to make sure that I do it right, and I only have the Shrine of St. Alessia. I haven't seen this one yet, so here's some more of the menu replacers. Or not the, yeah, the loading screen replacers, I'm sorry. I like this version. And yes, I will be posting a full mod list when I'm done with this. I really do need to eat. We'll have apple, milk, raw dog meat, water. I got stomach rot, but I don't care. So Alicia. Followers within 20 feet gain 50 points of armor. Wow. 25% of resistance to zero. This is actually pretty good. I don't believe I'll be following Alicia, but let's accept it now. Let's I am tired, though. That's the problem. He'll probably die off. You can see how much slower he's moving. This isn't the heavy armor. This should be my severe fatigue. Yeah. Movement speed reduced 15%. Yeah. Even with God mode on, it's still, you know, pain in the butt. But here we go, guys. The site I've been Seriously? Spiders, huh? Whoa! Okay. Holy hell. Can I hit him from here? No. Okay, that staff's overpowered. Oh, you're welcome, Sonar. Your DynDOLOD's still going? Normal. It depending on how much you have, it'll be a while. Yeah, it was the right choice to add Matthew's 3D trees back in. Absolutely was. Now my character won't be killing random animals. That should be... That's all fun, yep. I hear wolves. It is quite beautiful up here, though. This is an area that I rarely come to, and obviously with Winter Sun, you have a reason to, for the shrine. See how slow my character's moving. Jeez, I need to sleep. I should have slept at the house, but... And obviously, like I said, with the LODs, ignore them. That'll all be taken care of. These trees do look nice, though. I really can't wait to set everything up. And this is why I like NVT over semi-realist with Cathedral. This reason alone. It doesn't have as much of a fantasy vibe. It's got a more cool, cold feel to the game, but I try to put things together that mesh well with it, I guess you could say. And it's always based on what my character, or who my character is, what my character is, what I'm trying to get out of my game. And obviously this was a new EMB, it was an update. I don't believe he had one, an NVT ENB for Cathedral Weathers. Semi-Realist was there, the Cathedralist ENB was there, I think there was 2 or 3 more. Fireman AF, if you ever get wind of this, you've done a fantastic job. This is my new favorite. I will be keeping this in, or a version of NVT in probably the next few. See if we can see some other things here. Let's go to, oh, I'm sorry, let's 7, 8, let's go to 9.
So why'd you join up with the
Yeah, I'm really tired. Can I sleep in one of these beds? Hey,
Legion's
you
always
get up,
looking
get on
for
my way.
strong, capable warriors. If you think you've got what it takes,
Yeah.
our headquarters,
Let me sleep for 4 hours.
we're in solitude.
Cool. I'm probably still dead tired, but I'm hungry. So here's one of the tent mods for the Imperials. These are the
How'd you end up here?
4K
I signed on because I couldn't
4K
watch the
version.
sword folks tearing
So you can
everything
see
apart
here's a
and
couple
not doing
things going
something.
on. You have the wood textures, right? You've got the map, pretty lantern replacers, and that's, thank you for that game. That was awesome.
Stay alert.
A little bit of high poly and
Charge.
rustic cooking. Can I cook? Ooh, I can cook some stuff. Awesome. No salt needed. Let's eat a little bit, because we're hungry. Chard. Yeah. Milk. We'll have milk. We like milk. I'm gonna have to reposition landscape fixes again.
Keep an eye out for trouble. It's only a matter of time.
It is only a matter of time. And of course you can see here for the hunter's tents, which I believe is what this is. Let me see. A small Imperial tent model. So this is the Imperial tent, Nif. Wrong one. And then large Imperial tent, Nif. So you can see they're both changed significantly. I like the mesh and textures with this. The model itself is gorgeous.
Been so long since I killed the Stormcloak.
It has been, yeah.
Flabby.
Yep. This is what it'll look like. Now we're in a much more dense area. I am at 58 FPS. So you can see it's still playing really well. I'm expecting some drops. Obviously, I still have yet to add in TPOS2, so we know how that's going to go. And I will tweak the grass density. I know in some places it seems it's high. I want it a little more sparse than what it is. I know it seems fairly sparse right now, but we're going to lower it a little bit more. Because it will help boost performance, and that is one of my main concerns. I want this to be a smooth play, but I also want it to visually look good. And then if I have to tweak, some more for a little more performance, then I'll wind up messing with the EMB for a little bit. But grass, the shadows, absolutely. The shadows, I have to scale them back. That'll massively boost performance as well. But other than that, that's that's pretty much it. Let's look at some of the Dwemer stuff. I think there. Oh, we got to go up this way. Right. Yeah, I did add some Dwemer stuff in. So this is what, Mizulft, I think. Should be. Yeah, Mizulft. So here, glorious dwarven doors. See the mechanism? That's pretty cool. He's not here. I require a key. That's right. There go the cogs. Door opens. That's beautiful. Yeah, I need a little prematurely. I'm really happy with the blend of, like I said, I've never used cathedral landscapes before, but I'm really happy with it. The fact that I don't have to run a grass mod is really nice. I can still tweak it. I still have a grass innie, but I don't know if it'll affect directly on the landscape. It may not. I'm not sure. But like I said, I don't plan on running one, so let's he's got the staff. Never kill the foxes. Kill the foxes, I will curse you. Where is the... Ooh. So these are added too, the stone flowers. And you'll find them in rocky areas. There's the saber cat. He must have killed him. You sure you want some of this? I don't think you do. Wow, that thing is powerful. She made that thing... Oh, wow. Because I think I'm on... Adept. Yep, mushrooms. I think I touched every single type of flora and fungus. I believe I did. What do we have to see? We have to see Windhelm. I went in too quick. There's a message you get with I need that says please do not open the MCM or you'll bork it. And of course I went too quick. I'm not using EVT, I'm just using 3D trees. I took EVT out because I wanted to see it. So now you guys recognize this area pretty well. You know with TPOS2 the content. This is, like I said, this is my favorite screenshot in the entire game from this area with Nesbitt's work. Hands down, it's my personal favorite. I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. There is so much here, and especially if you add back in Matthew's works. Now we're seeing the 20. Let's see how the 2020 textures look. You can see with the snow. Like obviously stuff isn't generated, so I don't know how it's going to look afterwards. I just know that that's kind of unsightly, and I don't like it. As far as the stonework goes, for the Windhelm Bridge,
I own Hollyfrost farm outside the city. It's honest work, if a bit dull.
you know? It's a little muted still, but I think Windhelm always was like that. This does make it look better, though. Definitely a lot better than Noble, in my opinion.
Imperials think we need their laws.
Yes, you'll see. Once I have the TPOS2 edits in, it'll be a lot better. But damn, I mean, Windhelm's usually pretty, not that it's not bleak, but let's hear. Let's just make sure it's a nice day. There we go. Got some sunshine. Yep. Cool. So this is Solitude's glorious door. That's a big freaking door. That is nice. Oh, with Frostfall Wind? I'll back out and I'll show you guys what I have in a little bit. I can't think of the loading screen replacer name now. I literally saw it the other day, but this is my favorite part of using the 20 series textures, especially coming to Windhelm. Look at the groundwork.
You look worse than I feel.
Yeah, I know. I got stomach rot. Ignore me.
I think I saw it there.
Oh, yes. Now that you mention it, I think.
Obviously, the puddle is something else. Alchemy shop. Yep. We'll have to do something about the hanging lass. There's the black nightshade. Like I said, they look really nice. Renthal's is absolutely gorgeous. And because you get it in the pack, you get both of them. You get the nice almost 3D purple, and you get the 3D black. I mean, Windhelm still looks bleak, but I mean, it looks a lot better. We did one other thing. Let me see if it's here. I may have to drop it lower. I did get a mod, so I was supposed to clean these up. I don't know if it's inside or outside. Let's take a look at the Palace of Kings. That looks nice. Doors look really, really good. So look at the stonework in here. This is gorgeous.
We've intercepted couriers from Solitude. The Empire is putting a great deal of He's against us.
He knows that.
Yep.
They all know that.
How long are you going to wait?
You think I need to
It's
send
high
all
poly.
sorts of messages?
If my message will mean shoving a sword through his coming.
Taking his city and leaving him in disgrace.
Like I said, I don't have any of the armors or anything like that done yet either. I have to do that today.
So we're ready to start this war in earnest then.
Soon.
I still say you should take them all out like you did dead
Is
King
Lord Thyme?
Turorial.
I've spent my life serving
Cure my disease.
Of course.
Get rid of my stomach rot, man.
All harm.
Thank you. Now we're good. Okay, so
If it's bed or board you're after, Candlehearth Hall's got both.
we'll be changing the guards. I have to check with the snow. I think I have the snows in the wrong place. Unless that's how it's supposed to look. I don't think it's supposed to. Like I said, I'll have to go back over and take another look, but doors for Candlehearth, yep. Let's look at the main door here. It should be. Oh yeah, this is definitely staying in my mod list. They're beautiful. Candlehearth.
I'm a sailor on the North Wind. We're laying over in Windhelm for a while.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's take a look at my saves. We'll go over the abandoned prison one. I don't have any reason to, because I will be deleting these. Let's go back out. Switch my display capture over. Of course, I got the campfire issue in my overwrite. I thought I took care of it, but apparently the DLL, well, it's an SKSE plugin. I don't know how that's going to affect things. I'll have to take a look. Like I said, I'll fix that. So I was trying to replicate this. Remember I was telling you guys I wanted it to get as close to the screenshot that I took from Atherlur's play. Obviously with the LODs being tweaked, this distant terrain will have all of its textures rendered. You'll be able to see everything, not just the close stuff. Now this was done with Vadosprum for my grass mod, and I was using the dark variant of Majestic as well. So it's going to look a little different, but I would like to replicate it, or at least come close. This is probably one of my favorite screenshots that I've taken, and it's not anywhere near as perfect as I would have liked it to be. I happened to be in the right place at the right time. Okay. So let's see. Let's go back up. All right. Things that people had questions about. So for your HUD and the UI interface. Okay. You're going to want Sky UI, obviously. Sky HUD or less intrusive HUD would go underneath Sky HUD. In this order as well. A Matter of Time, a Clock HUD widget, the widget mod itself, and then customizable UI replacer. For me, it's the Sky HUD version. I believe Wind uses the less intrusive HUD version. Pick one or the other, but make sure that you sync up which ones you're using. And then in the widget mod and A Matter of Time, you'll have the preset loaded for you. That's how I get that that nice display that you see. These groups of mods right here. And then of course I'm using obviously Immersive HUD, More HUD, Inventory Edition as well, Better Dialog Control, and Dear Diary. The wallpaper and the main menu replacer is Forest Fantasy with the Skyrim title. Loading screen replacers is Immersive, the Elder Scrolls. Let's go to the page here because I don't think the whole name. I'll get it right. You guys will be able to see. Immersive Elder Scrolls loading screens. They're all really nice. So this is my new favorite. Flavor of the week here. Right? It's a little similar to TESG that I used to use. But like I said, I wanted to change things up, including my stuff like this. So we're absolutely doing that. And I think this looks great. My font will be the Morrowind font. This will obviously be different. It'll be the Morrowind font. Okay. But look at this. This is beautiful. These are gorgeous. Right? I mean, the worst part about this thing, aside from, the level up being there, is the font itself. The font really needed to be changed. But these are beautiful screenshots. Dark Brotherhood. Emperor Titus Mead. The Greybeards. Look at that. Right? Not bad, huh? This was a nice little gem to find here. Dunmer Clockwork Apostle is this Messinar. Served by South the Soul's goal of creation in the perfect life form and created the abominations. Yagrum, the last known living Dwemer. Wait till you guys see Sov. If I get to Sovngarde, wait till you guys see. I already did a test with it earlier. Beautiful. Dwemer Engineering. This has a more sci-fi feel to it, but it kind of fits if you think of what the Dwemer are. And obviously in the games, in Skyrim specifically, it is, I can't even say dumbed down compared to this. This was upscaled compared to the game in terms of what the creators of this mod felt the Dwemer possibly could have been. But, interesting nonetheless. Did not find any threats. Thank you, Windows Defender. You're awesome. And we're back to Manny Marco. So there's 11 photos here. We went through all 11. This is the mod. It is mod 29736 on SE, Immersive, The Elder Scrolls. If you type in lore loading screen, this will pop up. That'll absolutely pop up. So, obvious things to move. I have to move the floor mod under my home mod, which should be no problem. Like I said, it's just the textures for that. For the Death Bell for Mares. High Poly also has to be moved down lower. Were you guys curious about any other mods that I'm running so far? Is that where they're from, Sam? Legends? One I haven't played. I've heard things about Legends, but I have not played Legends. Obviously, we didn't get into like ruins. You didn't get to see any of the Rudy Nordic ruins, but Rudy, I believe, used some assets from John Rose. He did credit John Rose for some of his work in the mod, but I also feel like Rudy's mod is better. My opinion. It's one I can't play without. And obviously, if I didn't use Rudy's, I would be using John's Nordic ruins, but that's just me. Other things, basic gameplay, trade and barter, ordinator, the full set, Andromeda, Winter Sun. Winter Sun is basically my foundation for my gameplay stuff. I could use any other perk overhaul, magic overhaul. I have a really hard time not incorporating a character into something with Winter Sun, even if they're not a devout follower. It gives you very nice options. Over the course of characters that I play, I find myself gravitating, I find the character themselves gravitating towards a certain deity or Daedra. Immersion. Give me my immersion. Basically. Honed Metal, obviously I kept it in. I will not play without honed metal, even though this character will be doing crafting. And then circlets with masks are all robes and hoods. Um, these two mods, even if you don't use certain things, get them if you're on PC. Uh, quality of life. That's all I can say. Quality of life. Especially the circlets. You wouldn't think something, but you know, to have the slot opened up for your circlet to be worn under a hood. Now this character will be Elven, so I can see him probably with a small circlet, maybe. Bosmer, although it'll probably be made of bone. I'll probably, if I can craft something with Scrimshaw, maybe, or maybe late game if he's wearing something a little more regal, depending on how I decide that the story's gonna go. Um, maybe, but I have it in there anyway. Like I said, quality, and then of course for my followers, because that'll open up that slot for them. Um, so I did throw campfire in. Um, wet and cold obviously always stays in my loadout with the fur hood fix. I need always stays in. We added Hunterborn. With the complete alchemy patch. It's got its MCM add-on and Scrimshaw. I did add in Scrimshaw. Oh, thank you, Win. Or thank you, Sonar. Oh, thank both of you. Awesome. Yeah, so I took enhanced vanilla trees out, and it's just Skyrim 3D trees and plants. I took the Gilder Green add-on. I took the static planters, and the billboards are directly underneath it. Every tree different, 3D. Every tree 3D different. This is Lestat, I believe. This is Lestat's mod. So when I run 3D trees, I always run ET3D. Or every tree different. They complement, and you can't run this without this. There is a Skyrim 3D trees requirement for that. Um, yeah, only 263 so far. Like I said, I don't have the bottom categories, and I did not even add in my TPOS2 category. And then, of course, you know, 150 slots of those are for ESL patches. So we're gonna be pushing it again. You didn't see me with my armors or weapons yet. And Hoth, obviously, I added Hoth in. Hoth will be the follower, or he'll be one of the. I'm gonna have multiple followers with this character. He's gonna be combat based. He's, like I said, light magic. Probably just some restoration, maybe alteration. But I don't see him delving into anything other than that. Um, and that's where I'm at right now. Um, yeah. WizKid Signs, Design of the Nords. I keep forgetting the name of that Windhelm mod. But it's not the metalwork, it's something different. And it's for the plaques. And I know I added it, and I might have removed it by accident. Because I was playing around. I think I got rid of everything that was uninstalled. Yeah, now see, this is EVT right there. And Vadosprum. I can actually delete uninstalled. Let's get rid of them. Alright, let's do a little bit of 69 cleanup here. Giggity. So that's where I'm at right now. Hold border banners obviously point the way. Missives. We did add a missive. Missives is compatible with TPOS2. Loaded above. It would go with your environmental structures. It's under Forgotten Retext project, but it has to be loaded. Although, you know, do I really want to? Because the home mod's down. But where is the home mod? Give me 1 second here. Please drill's here. It is underneath, isn't it? Hold on. Please drill is 257. Okay, no, it's not. 223. Let's move it down. We'll literally put it right underneath it. Okay, and now if I see the purple at her house, nothing I can do. Death Bells by Mari is loaded as low as it could possibly go to overwrite all the other Death Bells. They should be red. It's going to be interesting to see with the MB Light, though. How does your game look, Sonar? Do they come out okay? It's night and day difference when you generate them yourself, isn't it? As you know, think of it like this. Going back to console, HD LOD textures was really the main thing. You would have to make room in your load order for something like that. The console has no way to fully generate LODs properly. But I remember even doing the TPOS2 setup, HD LODs is compatible, and I had it loaded above, and it looked really, really good. And that's why I included it in the example that I did when I had it. Now, I was running a full Noble setup at the time, and then as recent as as recent as 2 weeks ago, so this would have been before I believe Skeletor did the update to the graphics pack with the addition. I ran a full graphics pack setup with TPOS2, and that looked phenomenal. So, like, I go from one to the other, and he updates his mod. He keeps everything all nice and tidy, and I like that. But when I compared it to my Noble TPOS2 setup, everything was identical except for I swapped out all the Noble mods for graphics pack. Graphics pack looked and performed better. I didn't have any issues with Noble, with the exception of those missing textures in white. Sorry guys, headset. So I didn't have any issues with the Noble setup, with the exception there are missing textures still in Whiterun, in the Hall of the Dead, and Jorrvaskr on the walls. It's nothing that's going to break your game, it's just there and it's an eyesore when you notice it, okay? I had no issues with the performance of Noble with TPOS2. And I was running a JK's setup as well, because at the time when I did Noble, many of his standalone add-ons weren't, he hadn't done them yet. Fast forward now, I took JK's out and I added in all of Nesbit's, Morthal Ages, Rebellion, Markarth Origin, Riverwood Grove. Did I say Morthal Ages? I think I did. Okay. Whiterun, the walls. So I added that in with the graphics pack that Skeletor did, and it outperformed Noble. Plain and simple. It looked better. It outperformed it. And it's hard to explain outperform it on a cap of 30 FPS. It felt stable. I felt myself holding my controller in my hand, and I never really had to worry about turning and getting like a semi-stutter, because that did happen with Noble, but it's not very noticeable. Like you notice it if you're playing your own game on console with that, but yeah, obviously I switched the grass out too. I was running Vedosperum less dense with my initial setup, and then I swapped it over to unique grasses. I wanted to keep everything, mod author per mod author. Usually when I do my setups, I'm like that. At least on console, I tend to be a little more uniform. On PC, I do to a degree, but you see how it spirals into this big conglomeration of stuff, and it of course snowballs. This 263 will turn into 463, probably 500. We'll be close to that. My plugins are actually still, I'm under my ratio that I like to go. and we've got 18 light plugins. We have 83 ESP, so we're really good. We're really good for where we're at. A lot of this is texture. Skyland AIO. So I like it. It performs really well. I've used Skyland a lot, I have to say, at least when it was first out. There was a period of time, I want to say it was a full year plus, where it was nothing but graphics pack for me, right? I remember somebody suggesting to try Noble. I did. I liked it. I made the switch. I think I used Noble for a couple months, and then I went back to Skyland for a little bit. And so, you bounce around. Depending on like how you play, what you want your game to look like. There was a brief time, a long, long time ago, where I did use Dark Ages. I'm sorry, Noble. Did I say that? I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what came over me. Um, yeah, but no, I did. We had to do that. We had to use that for testing as well. So, because we wanted to see how they performed. You want opinions on which major overhaul gives you the best performance, especially when it comes to Nesbitt's work. We had to test them all. So, um, at the time, and still, graphics pack performs the best out of all of them. Uh, Skyland and Noble were pretty close. Noble eked it out just a little bit. Skyland looked better. But Noble's architecture looked better. Skyland's landscape looked better. So, give or take. Give or take. And then, of course, if you want to piece it together, piece it together. So, yeah, that's where I stand, guys. I will be doing later today. I don't know if I'll stream it. Because I may, like I said, I didn't even take a break for this. I usually take a little bit of a break in the middle, but because I'm going to be ending it now. I'm going to take my break and I'm going to grab something to eat. I didn't have any lunch yet, and it's going on dinner time for me. So I'll wind up going in. I'll probably finish my weapons and armors, physical appearance, and the rest of the followers that I think I'm going to use. Whether they're my own created ones I have them saved. Obviously, I just have to rerun them through the CK. It's pretty easy. I just have to generate the face gen data for them, plug them into my data folder. Maybe I might run without them because two of them come in Morthal ages, but I may throw the Nesbit follower in. It's one of the two I uploaded to Nexus and to Bethesda.net. So I may throw him in. I'm not sure yet. It'd be interesting to see. I'm gonna have to get used to him shouting at everything and freezing them with ice breath. But we'll have to see. Maybe not. You pick whichever one that you feel comfortable your game can run it on. There's nothing wrong with selecting medium. I run mine on high. Just I guess because I can, but if I wanted a little bit of a boost in performance, I would pick medium. It's still gonna look good. You're still generating your level of detail. So regardless of what you choose, yeah, like I said, so if you go with medium, right? When you're finished, go in game, take a look. Do it like I just did here. Do a test character. Whatever, basic Nord, the first preset, or make a character. You can make it with race menu. You can save the presets, and they populate into your override as a mod. You save it, and then you don't have to keep creating your character every time. Although I'm not sure if Vortex lets you do that. I would assume you should have some way, because you can save the presets from race menu. Race menu has the option to let you do that, so you should be able to do that. Check out how medium looks, and then if you think you want more, go high. If you're fine with medium, stay with medium. Yep. You should be good as long as you like it. You know what I mean? Because the game's still gonna look good. If you have it properly set up, um, try not to have. Well, I'm one to talk with overlap. Look at this. Look at all the green pluses here. You know, things are gonna touch. Just be careful of area edits. NPCs, like added NPCs into the game. Um, was the other one uncompressed textures, which I have to get the texture size of the home mod down because I saved it as BC7. I fixed the meshes and I saved it as Form 44, but even with a BC7, it's still, I think Eleanor's on LE was like 112 megabytes. Mine's close to 200. So I'm gonna have to figure something out. It looks great though. I mean, you guys saw the home. I think it looks great, but if I'm able to, uh, I guess compress the textures a little bit more to squeeze out a little bit more from it, I will. Other than that, I may just leave it alone. But I should have the files. I mean, I don't know where I put it. It's I thought it was maybe in PC mod. I thought I had it pinned. Glorious Doors. No, I guess I don't. This is going back to 2.6. It would have been after this. Let me check. I doubt it's in load order. Yeah, I have the Nordic. So the Nordic guide that I follow is, I did pin this for everybody if you want it. It's in PC load or it's going to be the latest one. This was my Argonian. This was Junal. This is the list that I have here, right? This is his mod list and his plugins tab. Um, and then this is the Northern Experience. So this is the old Yash guide. This is up to date. This is current. Because I don't believe Yash is coming back. If it is, I haven't checked it in a while, so I could be wrong, but so we have both the guides, and then like I said, Luxy guide is up there. I will probably try to get links to the Lexi guide, Phoenix Flavor, the Tuco guide. There's a couple other ones. We had a link to Pred Caliber stuff. He was supposed to be doing a 2020 full mod build, but I haven't heard it. Sorry. But I haven't heard anything yet, so this is Junel's mod list. But yeah, that should be it for me today, guys. So thank you. I'm gonna wind up getting to armors after I grab a little something to eat and kind of get up away from my PC for a little bit. I'll be on mobile though still. I'll be in the Discord. I'll pop back in for a little bit while I'm having something to munch on. And I don't know. Maybe I'll finish. I'll probably set the armors up because I don't know. I'm sure it gets boring watching somebody else just put a load order together. And there's times where some of mine I know I go like way too fast to follow along. It gets tedious for me to sit here and slow down sometimes. I'd rather just be playing the game, but maybe I'll get through the hard part first. Oh, you guys are welcome anytime. And Sonar, let me know how the law generation turned out for you. I think you'll be fine on medium, but like I said, if you want a little bit more and you want to go full, you are gonna have to rerun that. So he wants all the streams. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be back a little later. Like I said, I'll bring my phone with me. I'll pop in the Discord and yeah, leftover pizza, leftover Domino's, I believe it is. So dinner for tonight, right? All right, guys. And yeah, any other questions about setup or if you have like mod suggestions, I'll absolutely throw them into my mod list, and we could always go into game together and test them to see. So yeah, feel free. But like what you're looking on screen now is what I'm trying to get close to. I actually think it's going to look better than what I have on screen because this was from a while ago. This is from last year, right? Um, but we'll have to see. I was running realistic water too as well, which I'm not going to be doing this time, even with the update. I'll probably just stick with Cathedral. I'll stick with Cathedral water. because I'm not, like I said, I'm not as concerned with the water flow. Um, but we'll see. You never know. That could change. That could absolutely change. It's after TPOS2, so I won't be either way. I wouldn't be adding either one until after I finish setting up TPOS2. And when I do, so if I make it to TPOS2 and I'm in the middle of the stream, I'll continue the stream and then you guys can watch the TPOS2 setup itself and how I do that. So it's for me it's fun to do, and I hope like watching somebody else set it up and placing things in a certain spot makes it easier, you know, because then for a lot of you guys already know about load orders and things like that. And then we have new members come into the server. You guys have seen me do it. It's just easier when you see somebody else do it. Then you can be like, "Yep, this is how you do it." Because I've been running this stuff since well since the original mod itself really. And then you guys remember how it came to TPOS2 came to Bethesda Net briefly, and then he pulled his stuff because of people trolling his site, and he got fed up, and we never thought it was coming back. So I've been running it since the complete version. That's when I used to get crap from a different server that I was in saying, "Oh, Nesbit's work isn't that good," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, this is my setup, and I like it." Surprisingly, other people liked it too, and certain pirate captain wasn't happy about that. So anyway, that's it for me. Uh, enjoy your night, enjoy your day. I will probably be here later. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.